Which of the following is not a Frank Zappa song? A. Sun and Susie Cream Cheese. B. Electric Aunt Jemima. C. Nasal retentive calliope music. Or D. Fido and the Marine Mama.
I think the person that designed the pop-up ad was recently jilted by an ex, forced to pepper them with one message after another. Are you still mad? Why won't you text back?
Hackman plays a flamboyant attorney, Jebediah Tucker Ward. During the opening credits, he's monologuing to the jury about his client he calls the White Rabbit and the evil CEO of the company he's suing, the Queen of Hearts. When the defense objects, he responds, "Objection? Why not off with their heads?"
I miss you so much.
Sorry I called your mom a cow. Can you make me a sandwich? God forbid your wrist slips and you accidentally click on one of those pop-ups. It's like Indiana Jones taking a bad step and all of a sudden there's blow darts coming from every direction. Right?
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll podcast.
Okay, episode 8. I'm excited about this one. This is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, lots.
Just feel really good about this one. Yeah.
Lots of work put in this week and lots of new things discovered.
New names, returning names, old friends, new friends. Very exciting. So let's talk about pop-up ads. Naturally.
The bane of my existence.
The pop-up ad. To me, it always reminded me of like the toilet handle that you have to jiggle to get the water to stop, or you're in an elevator and here comes the creepy guy that smells the mail, and you're like hitting door closed, door closed, door. It doesn't, not working.
I think the person that designed the pop-up ad was recently jilted by an ex, forced to pepper them with one message after another. Are you still mad? Why won't you text back? I miss you so much.
Sorry I called your mom a cow. Can you make me a sandwich? The worst pop-ups on my PC are actual legitimate vendors, it seems. I changed my antivirus software, and apparently I broke McAfee's heart. They're like, your credit card was declined for renewal. Yes, I know. You're unprotected from viruses. And then they got a little more aggressive.
112 viruses detected. Can you make me a sandwich?
I find it fascinating that they send the same pop-up ad like 14 times in a row. It's like some sinister window-closing video game. You know, like you close the first 7. Do they think you're going to go like the 8th time? Oh, wait, Southwest. Did you say discount flights to New Jersey? Now you have my full attention. The fuck?
I think it's weird that Google asks you, did you like this ad? Would you like to see another kind of ad? Would you like to see more ads like this one? Would you like some alone time with your ad? Shut up, Google. No one likes ads. Go home. You're drunk. And take your skanky clickbait with you.
Yeah, we have that on TV too, where it'd be like, choose your ad experience. I mean, what boardroom idiot thought that this was a good idea? I don't know.
Do I want to see Sky Rizzy or maybe auto insurance ads? I don't know.
Ugh, whatever.
I hate when I'm looking for a recipe and you have to go through 9 paragraphs about the history of nonstick cookware.
Fascinating.
The author's favorite spot to buy cinnamon. And the health benefits of free pouring vanilla like Gina Tay. All the while, there are ads popping up everywhere like grenades. One misplaced finger, and you will be sucked away to the Dyson vacuum sale. And you will never get back to the actual recipe for creamy parsnip soup, which is buried somewhere in this bitch.
Then there are the ingredient teases. You will need garlic, butter, parsnips, and some patience and care. It's like, hello, I need exact measurements, not an emotional journey. Oh, fuck. I just got tabbed off to a survey about my opinions on organic food additives. We're having carry out tonight.
You know you want this. An ad that aggressively insists you need a ridiculous product, like bacon-scented pillows, because you looked at it once and scoffed at it and showed a couple people as you laughed. Suddenly it's like a Hydra appearing every 5th Instagram feed.
Yeah, I have a pop-up blocker installed on my PC, but it doesn't help. I get really weird pop-ups, and they say they're from the Dallas Observer, which is weird because we're in Maryland, nowhere near Texas. Stuff like, Trump reinstates the draft. Woman found raised by chihuahuas.
Claim your free turkey baster. I sure could go for a sandwich.
There's that sandwich thing again. God forbid your wrist slips and you accidentally click on one of those pop-ups. It's like Indiana Jones taking a bad step and all of a sudden there's blow darts coming from every direction, right? Windows start popping up, sirens go off. Congratulations, you have won a free cruise to the Ukraine. Meanwhile, McAfee is sitting in the back corner. Bitch, I'm not helping you now. I'm hammering Control-Alt-Delete like I'm killing wayward hookers in Grand Theft Auto. Come on, come on, come on.
Finally, a reboot. All is quiet. Then it's the Dallas Observer to the rescue.
Bing.
Mars attacks the Earth. Claim your free sandwich. Our feature interview this week is with a dear friend of the show, Miss Erica Stoltz, frontwoman of the New York-based metal band Sanhedrin. We have a wonderful visit with Erica, discussing the making of their fantastic new album, Heat Lightning. Plus, we get into cult TV shows, creative drug paraphernalia, and all other manner of witchy and satanic topics. So stay tuned for that.
Check this out. Brand new Sanhedrin, Blind Wolf. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcasts. And for $6.66 a month, you get a giant recycle bin filled with Mark and Stace rocketing down the road.
For less than a Happy Meal at McDonald's, I think these days,
Yeah.
you can help us support the show. We put a lot of time, effort, a lot of equipment into it. We also help support the underground music scene. In fact, this week we will be going to Coroner and Deceased at the Metro.
They're from Switzerland.
So if you want to...
Will they play Purple Haze? Who knows? I'm so excited.
We'll talk to them about it after.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we also do live stream on Instagram, as well as put up music reviews, tips. I'm currently revamping my garden for 2025, so I'm sure we'll get lots of goodies in there. Plus, maybe I'll do one of my crazy soups I've been making this winter with my blender.
There's recipes on our Patreon site. There's tons of other reviews that aren't on this site. Workout tips, full discographies explored by Mark and Stace. So
Book
really,
reviews.
but there's tons of book reviews. Yeah, I've been reading my ass off lately. So get over to Patreon and check us out. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Go say hi to us on Instagram and Facebook. We're always over there. And don't forget to check out our other show, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. So then that way you'll have a dose of Mark and Stace every week. Just got a little bit of a cold chill because I think it's time.
Oh boy.
Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay, Obnoxious Trivia this week. Very, very excited. Put a lot of effort into these. I think this is going to be artwork of brain-melting trivia this week. So, number one, which of the following is not a Frank Zappa song? A, Sun and Susie Cream Cheese. B, Electric Aunt Jemima. C, Nasal Retentive Calliope Music. Or D, Fido and the Marine Mama.
All right, I want to go with none of them are actual songs, but I guess one of them isn't. So I don't think he was very militant, so I'm going to go with Fido and the Marine Mama.
Ding, ding, ding. Very good. Very good. Yes, Nasal Retentive Calliope Music was an actual song. And so were the others. Okay, you're on a roll. Number two. What did Dr. Erich Budelmann invent in Germany in 1926? Was it A, the squeegee, B, the telex machine, C, the electric typewriter, or D, decaffeinated coffee?
I think the squeegee's a little bit more of a modern thing, and I'm not sure what the hell a telex even is. Is that a fact? All right, I'm going to go with the electric typewriter.
I'm sorry, the telex. The little tiny ticker tape. Where like that's what the telex is. Yeah, that was Greek. I am trapped in the mailroom, please. Yeah. Okay, number three. What is an enterobang? A Swedish word for an ENT doctor. B, a combination question mark and exclamation point. C, a fire extinguisher included in Italian sports cars. Or D, a sour, hairy-looking fruit from Malaysia.
Well, bang tends to me think that maybe it's the question mark and exclamation point combo.
Wow, you're on fire today.
Wow.
Very good. Very good. Yes. It is a punctuation that I was not aware of at all. It's like both the symbols over top of each other. Now, I don't know why it couldn't just be like, have exclamation point, question mark, But if you only have this much space
Well, the only reason I
and you
got it
want to
is-
be questioning and exclamatory,
Yeah, because that's what I looked at it. In tarot is like a question and bang is like an exclamation point. That's why I guessed it.
very smart. Okay, which actor once told Barbara Streisand that she didn't have the talent of a butterfly fart?
I actually think those are pretty talented.
A, Walter Matthau, B, Omar Sharif, C, Elliot Gould, or D, Bob Newhart?
I'm gonna go with Omar Sharif.
I'm sorry, it was Walter Matthau. It was during Hello, Dolly. She had only made one movie, Funny Girl, and it hadn't come out yet. And he accused her of trying to take over directing the film when she didn't have the talent of a butterfly fart. So, pretty good, not bad. 2 out of 4, very good. 50%. This has been Obnoxious Trivia. Well, introducing our Snaggletoon, we lost a giant in the world of acting this week. Mr. Gene Hackman, found dead at the age of 94, I think,
94, 95.
with his wife, who was like 30 years younger, but also deceased. Very sad. So I'm such a fan of Gene Hackman. I thought that we would put together for our Snaggletoon our favorite Gene Hackman moments. So here it is. Number 10. We'll start with Superman 2. There was never a better Lex Luthor than Gene Hackman. Personally, I like the early prison scene of Superman 2 where he's in the laundry room. He leans in close to another prisoner and says, "I want my Liberace record back."
How about Runaway Jury? Hackman's character is the ultra-shady jury consultant with a superb name, Rankin Fitch.
That's a great name.
It's all blackmail and hidden cameras and miscellaneous debauchery. At one point, he drops the line, "Trials are too important to be left to juries."
Okay, from 2001, the film Heist. Literally a movie about a den of thieves. It's great. Danny DeVito and Gene Hackman constantly double-crossing each other. Plane robberies, jewelry store stick-ups, the whole 9 yards. Here's my favorite exchange from DeVito and Hackman.
Something for that pretty little lady? Yeah? What's that lady see in you anyway?
I'm very resilient.
So's Gumby.
I got a better profile.
This is Uncommon Valor. Hackman puts together a team of Vietnam vets to try to get his son out of a prisoner of war camp. Half the show, he's tracking down ex-soldiers from his son's platoon. There's a scene where he's trying to recruit the Tunnel Rat character, Wilkes, and finds him welding some horrible combat-themed artwork. Wilkes' wife says, "It's taken me 10 years to get that damn war out of his head." Hackman says, "Oh yeah? Well, it looks like it's still in there pretty strong." Obviously, this goes over splendidly with the missus.
Classic. Okay, number 6, Enemy of the State. Remember this one? Hackman's a burned out former NSA communications expert that's, shall we say, just a little paranoid, constantly sweeping for hidden microphones and hiding from spy satellites. Who could forget this scene?
Happening? I blew up the building. Why? Because you made a phone call.
Number 5, Class Action with Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Hackman plays a flamboyant attorney, Jebediah Tucker Ward. During the opening credits, he's monologuing to the jury about his client he calls the White Rabbit and the evil CEO of the company he's suing, the Queen of Hearts. When the defense objects, he responds, "Objection? Why not off with their heads?"
How about Superman? Who could forget this scene? Lex Luthor plotting how he's going to blow up the state of California.
It occurs to me that a 500 megaton bomb planted at just a proper point would destroy most of California. Millions of innocent people would be killed. The West Coast as we know it would fall into the sea. Bye-bye, California. Hello, new West Coast, my West Coast. Costa del Lex. Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg. Otisburg?
Who's this monster? She's got her own place, man.
Otisburg?
It's a little bitty place.
Otisburg?
Okay, I just wipe it off.
This one's kind of obscure, and I always forget about it. He had a small role as the blind old man in Young Frankenstein. Remember that? Poor Peter Boyle wanders in. Hackman accidentally scalds him with hot soup, smashes his tankard before he can get a drink, and then sets his finger on fire. Check this out.
Good. Good. Yes, sir. Wait. A toast. A toast to, yes, long friendship. How hungry you must have been. Now, for a little surprise. For a special occasion I've been saving. Cigars. Take one. No. Fire is good. Fire is good. Yes, fire is our friend. Yes. I'll show you. I'll show you. You see? Yeah. Do you have your cigar? Let me see. All right. Now. Just hold it right there. Now. Don't inhale until the tip glows. Wow! Wait! Where are you going? I was going to make espresso.
Can't forget number 2, the firm. He's having a business lunch with a freshly recruited Tom Cruise when he drops this little pearl. I should tell you, the firm frowns on drinking during working hours. Cruise orders an iced tea. Hackman quips, I'll have a double martini.
I'm allowed a few indulgences, I think he says. No, I'm allowed a few minor rebellions, I think he says. And number 1, the greatest role ever in Hackman land is his portrayal of the right-wing conservative Kevin Keeley in The Birdcage. Here are some of the great clips from that movie.
Oh, I gotta fire this woman.
You know, this young man that Barbie wants to marry...
Miss Porter, page 2, the second paragraph, it's porno, not pronto.
I wonder if he's old money. I mean, a cultural attaché.
Your campaign manager is calling. He says he's got to talk to you.
Thank you, Bridget. Hello, Ben. Ready for what? What?
What's the matter, Kevin?
Jackson's dead.
Oh, my God.
He died in bed? Whose bed? A prostitute?
No.
A minor? And black?
What?
I don't believe this. I don't fucking believe this. I'm ruined.
No. You're not responsible. Kevin, you cannot be held responsible for Senator Jackson's private life.
Louise, I'm the vice president of the Coalition for Moral Order. My co-founder had just died in the bed of an underage black whore. Now wait till the media gets a hold of this. Bridget! I could really use some candy.
Here, you want one of these?
Oh, this.
I don't understand.
Barbara, the nightclub downstairs, he owns it?
Mm-hmm.
You mean he's not a cultural attaché?
No, and he isn't married to a housewife. And their name isn't Coleman, it's Goldman. They're They're both men.
You can't be. You can't be Jewish.
No.
I don't understand. Okay, this has been the best of Gene Hackman with Mark and Stace. Okay, it's time to talk about what?
Imperfect.
Imperfect Foods, as we all know.
Imperfect Foods is a great grocery delivery service that will ship right to your door. In fact, we just enjoyed this morning. They make these great little, they're uncooked shrimp that are peeled into vein. All you have to do is cook up the shrimp, add your choice of celery, onion, whatever you want to put in there. I always put a little jalapeno, mayonnaise, and you have, I like a little Old Bay hot sauce, and you have an amazing shrimp salad that you made yourself.
So good. Yep.
Cooks up so quickly.
Guilt-free eating.
We also tried today, they had a ground chicken, which you don't find anywhere, that was already kind of pre-seasoned with a little tomato and basil. I made it in the chili.
It's outstanding.
They have so many products. They really expanded their line since they joined with Misfit Markets. You can get wine, you can get seltzer, you can get vegetables.
But most importantly, one, caramelized onion cheese to die for. Never seen it in the grocery store. But the number one has got to be they have blue cheese curls. That bag's gone in seconds, which is like, you can't get blue cheese puffs in the grocery store, people.
Yeah, and the duck eggs, I've never seen those in the grocery store either. And everybody's up in arms about eggs. Their price on eggs has never changed during this whole weirdness.
No, was it the bird flu causing it or whatever?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or you get duck eggs.
But there's no chicken shortage. That's weird.
No
So
chicken.
even though they have bird flu, we can still eat them. We just can't have eggs. So I don't understand it. I'm not the farming type, you might have guessed. But anyway.
Anyway, if you use our link, it'll save you $20 off your first order. Any order over $50 ships for free. You can choose to tip your driver so he doesn't break all your eggs.
Okay.
But use our link and you too can enjoy products that you will never see in your grocery store and really have some convenient and yummy stuff. Vlad likes it too.
And this one.
They have cat treats too. They do.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
It's time for Collecturbation. This week, Vlad is going to help me talk about the first album from Starz. Go ahead.
Rule number 1 of rock and roll. Never name your band like you're destined for greatness. Big Star, The Gods, Robin Lane and the Chartbusters. Names that screamed, "We're huge," but ended up as footnotes.
You know what Big Star's first album was called?
What?
#1 record.
Oh, wow.
They really jinxed themselves. Anyway.
At any rate, Starz was a collection of musicians that had already achieved some success on the singles charts. Bassist Peter Swivel and drummer Jeffrey Grob had already played in the band Looking Glass, which had a big U.S. hit in 1972 with the Chicago-esque Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
One of your dad's favorite songs.
What a good wife you would be. They recruited frontman Michael Lee Smith, brother of teen star Rex, and eventually added guitarist Richie Rano of The Stories, who also had a big hit with a cover of Hot Chocolate's Brother Louie.
Armed with good looks, stage presence, and serious songwriting chops, the band changed its name to Fallen Angels, eventually catching the attention of Kiss manager Bill Alcoyne, who signed them to his management company Rocksteady, as well as getting them a major label deal with Capitol Records. Production-wise, the band again struck gold working with Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, Svengali, Jack Douglas, and landed a huge tour opening for Kiss, Nugent, Skynyrd, Foghat, and Blue Oyster Cult.
Their debut album is fantastic, a near-perfect combination of hard rock riffs and power pop accessibility. Any song on the record would have fit snugly on the radio stations worldwide between Boston's Smokin' and Foreigner's Jukebox Hero. But apparently, airplay didn't come. The songs are punchy and rife with immediate hooks and million-dollar vocal harmonies. Tear It Down is a bluesy shuffle in the vein of Bad Company with a danceable beat via Grob that sets up razor-sharp dueling guitar harmonies courtesy of Swivel and Rano. Let's play a clip. This is Tear It Down.
Okay, more from Starz. Nightcrawler is interesting. It eases in with a pensive, clean guitar and volume knob swells that follow Grob's bass drum acumen into an airy tempo that shows off Smith's soaring vocal capabilities. Pull the Plug is an odd one, a slow blues throb with lyrics about pulling the plug on a dying loved one. Had me thinking they should have gone with lovin', touchin', euthanizing instead. Of course, the bona fide banger of the album is Boys in Action. Guitars riffy and red hot, spicing up the proceedings with searing slide guitar workouts, a rumbling drum solo, and a chorus sweet enough to give us all tooth decay. So what's the verdict? Why weren't they huge? Reading interviews with the band years later, well, I just don't recommend reading any interviews with the band. Despite getting every break in the world, the band had split up by 1980. And when you read the interviews, it's all everybody else's fault. It's the record label didn't push us enough. The rise of new wave on the radio. Fans labeled us a baby Kiss. Ironically, the first 3 Kiss albums all flopped, and they continued to grind it out until they made it. I even read one article where Doob acknowledges testimonials from people like Lars Ulrich, Tom Kiefer, and Nikki Sixx. And then he goes on to say something about, well, why wouldn't they cover one of our songs if we're such a big influence? Really? Why did the band just call it quits after 5 years? Well, the wonderful thing about quality rock and roll, if a band grinds hard enough and sticks to their vision, world domination will come. The rock landscape in 1980 couldn't have been more fertile. AC/DC, Ozzy, and Priest were all selling millions of records. It takes grit, my friends. Starz had the talent, but when the road got rough, they folded. And that's why you're not going to see anybody wearing a Star shirt at the bar tonight. This is a clip from Boys in Action. Okay, I want to introduce the interview.
This is the interview from with my sister from another mother, Erica. We had a great chat as usual. The new album is absolutely, they're at the top of their game.
Yeah.
The songwriting's great.
It's
the
their best album.
It's great.
Absolutely.
So I was really anxious to find out more about it, and hopefully we'll meet up soon with you, girl.
Oh, and Erica, we did watch the show. We'll see you later.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, take it away. Let me ask you a question. All right, so your Instagram handle is Weird in the Woods or something? Where did that come from? So what is that?
That describes me in a nutshell.
Okay.
I have my parents built a cabin like really deep in the woods in the early 70s. And when they died, they gave it to me. And so I have the privilege of being, in this place in the woods where literally everyone around me is like kind of wealthy. And I live down this dirt road that I can only get down like 8 months out of the year because it snows too much, in this log cabin that's like, I don't know, everybody thinks I'm a fucking weirdo. And I'll tell you what, they had a party on the mountain where I'm at for Halloween, and a bunch of people came dressed as moi.
Oh, really? That's very cool.
Isn't that funny? They were just wearing blonde wigs and black clothing.
That's cool.
Did
So
you give an award to the best one?
Yeah.
I wasn't there. Actually, last year I was there, and one person did come as me, the birthday girl. It was really funny. So yeah.
So is it totally like no Wi-Fi or anything in the log cabin, or is it? Oh, cool. So you're totally secluded.
So this is crazy, man. In 1970, you couldn't get a building permit to build where they built because it's so far off of a main road. So they petitioned the town. And so we're like in the middle of the woods, this house. Like nobody can build around us because we're in a ravine and we're right up against a state park. It's like, it's kind of crazy. Like I see bears.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time, which is wild.
Yeah.
Bet you got to keep all your food locked up. I always like those videos where they come in and they're eating the Oreos.
Girl, last summer, I got invaded by raccoons for the first time
Oh, yeah, they're
ever,
nasty.
right? And I thought it was my cats fighting.
Yeah.
So I was, putting my fucking pillow over my head, and then I was like, that's more than two animals. So I get up, and all of a sudden I just see these raccoons hightailing it out the kitchen window.
Oh, wow.
And there's just cat food everywhere.
Oh, God. Oh,
God.
wow.
My mother's like super sadistic and she has all these gardens and she gets mad because the raccoons will they eat decon and are fine or they'll ruin her plants. So her solution was she shot one and then she hung it up for the foxes to eat. I was like, okay, Mom.
Well, at least somebody got to eat it.
I agree.
I appreciate
like a mob.
that.
It's like a mob boss. She's like a mob boss. Yeah.
That's
she
pretty
makes
cool.
an example out of you, Yeah.
She's like, you see this? This could be you.
She does it with squirrels too. She does it with squirrels. It's very creepy.
Wow.
I mean, I love her mom, but yeah, when it comes to gardening, she's a little cuckoo.
It's like violent gardening.
Yeah, she's a little out there. Yeah. So you want to ask a question?
Yeah.
Heat lightning? Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that you call this heat lighting. My kids used to make fun of me the whole time they were growing up because their father told them there was nothing, that heat lightning didn't exist. So every time I said it, they'd be like, Mom's saying that it's not real.
I had to do a little research because I heard that too. But that's not the case according to the interwebs. It does exist. It's reflected in the upper atmosphere, and you can see it up to like 500, 600 miles away. So it's an analogy or a metaphor for like just shit's rolling downhill, y'all.
We run a lot, and a lot of times I start seeing that, I start doing the poltergeist thing to see if I can hear the thunder and then count and see if it's getting closer and how much quicker I gotta go.
Totally. Yeah, but that's the analogy is that the shit is coming and it's rolling towards us like heat lightning. We see it. We don't think it's here yet, but lo and behold, a couple hours later, it's on top of you.
Yeah.
Oh, we've been caught in it more than once.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. So that's what that's about.
Yeah, I also love, your connection with nature. I was reading that it can actually lower your blood pressure just looking at trees. So I think there's definitely something to it.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I'm all about forest bathing, like one of the things I got into during the pandemic was mushroom foraging, like for edible mushrooms. And I learned that like just walking in the woods, you get all of this like nutritious bacteria, like you just breathe in all the shit that's like good for you and it helps your body. And I don't think, I don't think we were all really taking advantage of that as much as we could.
Yeah.
People who live in
Pay the
DC.
fucking least.
You never get, I think the concrete jungle is not a natural state for people. It's learned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, the further that we go away from nature, the less things make sense to me, and trying to control like the Los Angeles wildfires and the idea that like the LAFD could like experience budget cuts when they're in like one of the biggest wildfire outbreak areas in the whole wide world, it's just you're not doing the math, people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's California though. I mean, they have rolling blackouts all through because they don't have enough power to power the state,
Right.
So that's been for decades.
No, it is like the sort of extreme edge of consumption over there.
Yeah. I remember because I've always lived on the East Coast, but I remember when I would go out to LA for meetings with our branches out there where I worked, and people would just walk in and out of meetings late all the time, and it'd be like, "Sorry, dude, I flaked." And I was like, "What is it out here?" In New York, they kick your ass for that,
Yeah,
like
it's a
this is like
very
time means nothing. Oh
well,
well,
I'll tell you something. I lived out there for 15 years. I
Oh, that's
love
right. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in the Bay Area and everybody was like, gosh, you're so New York and this and that because I would speak very emphatically and curse a lot.
Yeah.
That was just not like socially acceptable in the same way. But
Yeah,
well.
that's funny.
Anyway.
Well, we have been saying, Mark and I, you guys just get better and better. This is definitely your best album to date.
Oh, I'm so psyched to hear you say that. Thank
we
you.
loved it. Yeah.
Absolutely killer.
Awesome.
Front to back, top to bottom. So I love the way you went with kind of the dark gothy cover and are those like little eyes, like creatures what do you think they are?
That's a great question. I feel like they're the spirits of the forest, just watching how humans act or something, that's what my interpretation of the eyes is. There's a line in one of the songs, Night Sky's Wild Eyes. And that sort of made me think of that. Anyway. But yeah, the guy who painted the album cover is a guy named Johann Prager, and he's the Bob Ross of satanic painting.
That's not an easy title to get. Yeah.
No, but he fucking earned it. Let me tell you, this guy churns out satanic paintings. He does craft fairs and online. He has an online store. And he does commissions. I mean, he does everything, but then he does his own, and it is just consistently satanic. It's pretty great. You should check out his work, Johann Prager.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like something for our wall back here.
Yeah, definitely will. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he has such a talent for this particular genre. And you'll see when you see his art what I mean by the Bob Ross because he has a really like signature brushstroke.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's cool.
That's great. Yeah. So I was looking for things that would have been different for this album because to me you sound so inspired on this record and it just sounds like such a breath of fresh air. Different studio. Is that maybe part of it?
Different studio is a big part of it. A lot was going on when we were recording this record. A lot was going on emotionally. I had just lost my father 5 days before the recording session. So that was rough. I think we were all sort of going through some deep stuff and getting it out in the performance.
Yeah, it definitely comes across really well. Yeah. So this studio is compared to your old one, for the Utopia one. What big differences did you see between what you experienced in the past and this one and how they handled things?
I gotta say that we were so lucky with this Utopia situation because this studio was opened by Todd Rundgren in 1972. Okay. He put a bunch of gear in there, some of which is actually still there.
Oh, wow.
They did dozens of albums, you guys know. Like REM's Green was recorded there, Patti Smith, Horses, Joan Jett, the one with like After I Love Rock and Roll. There was a Kiss album. I mean, just a ton of shit. And Justice was mixed in there, which I don't know. I mean, I'm not in love with the mix of that record.
No one is. No one is. Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff happening there. So there was the history, right? But then there was also just the sort of technical nuts and bolts were really different in this studio. Enormous live room with 25-foot ceilings. right?
Wow.
Whereas before we had a much smaller, much lower ceiling. The engineers, like, we got so lucky, you guys, because we work, Nate and I, as sound technicians for live events, right? And Nate runs the audio crew for a really big theater up here, the King's Theater. And he's cultivated his crew over the years with really great techs and a couple of people that came over to live from studio, Matt Brown and Jerry Farley. And they are good work friends and really close friends with Nate. And now they're really close friends of mine. And they did this as a fucking mitzvah for us. I mean, we paid them, but it was not what they deserved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Matt became friends with the guy that just bought Utopia, helped him set up some gear up there, and got the most insane bro deal for us because they just couldn't populate the studio. I don't think we wouldn't get the same deal this year because the guy that owns it has managed to promote his studio. I think he might actually have an agent that actually books it now.
Yeah.
But last year he was looking for business and we got lucky.
It's great for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So we kind of had some track specific questions. I love Blind Wolf with that awesome guitar solo. I love how you both are jamming out near the track's end. Teed up by the drum rollout. It's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about bass solos?
Well, I would feel a lot better about them if I had more confidence in myself as a bass player. I love Cliff Burton's bass solo on, oh God, I forget what track that was. I can't remember, but anyway.
The one on Kill 'Em All?
What's that?
The one on Kill 'Em All, you mean?
Yeah.
Anesthesia Pulling Teeth?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I'm trying to think of what other bass solos. Oh yeah. Do you guys know the punk band Dr. No?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
there's
like
a
the
killer
Bad Brains guy.
bass
Yeah.
solo on Circle of Fear.
Okay. Yeah.
So I do like bass solos when they're appropriate.
Castle Rat on their album, they have an entire short track that's nothing but a bass solo. I was like,
oh,
okay,
really?
I was like, that just happened.
Cool.
The way you guys are jamming in this, it reminded me of the Motorhead album with Brian Robertson, that song called Rocket, where Lemmy's soloing and Robbo is soloing at the end. It's so awesome. It's one of my favorite Motorhead songs. It reminded me of that.
I can't.
Yeah, it's from Another Perfect Day. The
Oh,
one
okay,
album the
okay.
one that has Robbo on it before he got kicked out.
Got you.
Yeah, for wearing ballerina slippers.
Another Perfect Day. Wow, I haven't listened to that.
It's great. It's great. Holds up great. Yeah.
So how about the video? I really liked for that too. Where was it shot? And was that you running around in the Vale?
Yes. So that was me being weird in the woods.
Okay, there we go. Was it fun making the video? I mean, how was making
it was
the video?
so much fun. So check this out, you guys. The woman that directed it is a friend of mine. I've known her since I was 18 years old. She was one of my first friends in college when I moved to California. And we've remained friendly ever since. She is an experimental filmmaker. She works exclusively with 16 millimeter and these really arcane cameras that are Payard. I forget what they're called, but Bolex.
Yeah,
Bolex
really cool.
Payard, right? So she owns these cameras, and we stay with her every time we play in Detroit because she lives in Detroit. And the last time we were there, she said, I think I want to get into making music videos. So maybe I'll make a video for you guys just as a sort of, to work it out as to how it works,
Right.
how that would work in this film context. And I was like, hell yeah. Without really understanding what she was doing, mind you, because there is so much double exposure in that video. So she would film something, then use the same film and film something else on top of it.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like the shapes that are moving around our faces, that's double exposure. That's like two different takes on top of the same film.
Yeah.
So I, being weird in the woods, got to be friendly with some folks that have this artist, Mike Osterhout, has a church in the neighborhood where I'm at. And it's called the Church of the Little Green Man. Weddings, funerals, baptisms.
Okay.
Going to prison parties. All kinds of shit, right? Like this guy has just crazy events at his church. So Jeremy and I played Let's Spill Some Blood acoustic at their most recent event, which was the celebration of the Red Woman. And there were about 7 or 8 people dressed as bloody tampons running around. So it was like, it's one of those parties.
Got it. Okay.
So Mike let us use the church.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. To become a member of this church, you have to burn a dollar bill.
Really?
Yeah.
Wonder where that comes from. Like, what's the idea behind that? It's weird. Yeah.
Just fuck everything. I don't know.
Yeah. Your friend that you're describing that has those old cameras, everyone that I know that's really into photography, they hate this.
Yeah.
They hate the vertical. They're like, bleh, I have a feeling your friend probably feels that way too, because they've got
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because it's like you have to convert that shit to vertical to throw it up on Instagram anyway.
I know, you're right. It's like I had a really good looking video. Now it looks like shit, so I can upload it,
Yeah. Well, there's an app for that somewhere. I'm sure.
Of course there is, yeah. So.
But we did that video with me, Jeremy, Nate, Shanna, the director, and one other person.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we set the whole fucking place up, lit it, did it all ourselves.
Wow.
One of my friends over, I was like, guess what? You're going to be a camera person today.
Oh, wow. Total DIY. Yeah.
You really looked like you knew what you were doing, like during the seance. Had you ever actually tried to do one before?
Oh, yeah. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Come on. Haven't you?
I used to do that during I would fascinate my daughter's friends when she was young because I would introduce them to this and they were all like, what else do you know?
Totally. But yeah, I mean, I looked at a lot of pictures. Shanna showed me a lot of pictures from the spiritualist movement. There's a town in Western New York called Lilydale. And that town has been known since the late 1800s as a place where mediums collect, right? So there's just like tons of early photography of seances over there.
Okay. Yeah.
And also some bullshit double exposure stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to like pretend that there's a ghost in the background.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we kind of pulled from that a little bit for this video.
That's cool.
It reminded me a little bit of the scenes in Penny Dreadful where they're doing the whole like with the fingers touch.
Yeah. Actually, I love that. I love that series.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that your theme was about cults. We actually love cult documentaries. Do you have a favorite one or one that was way out there?
Well, the one that really fucked our heads up was the Love Has Won,
And which one's that?
where the woman turns blue.
Wow,
From
do we know
I don't think we
too
saw that
much.
one.
I don't think we know. Oh, do tell. I don't think we know this.
Oh, you haven't seen this?
Whoa.
Whoa. All right, buddy. I'm not going to give too much away.
No. No. Well, the woman turns blue. I already know this.
Well, that's almost a minor.
Wow. Okay. I know what we're doing. As soon as this interview's over, as soon as the interview's over,
Yeah, it's HBO.
Okay.
Love Is One. So we watched that, and then I watched a couple of other documentaries. One on this guy from San Francisco who moved a bunch of people to Kauai. Did you see that one?
Oh, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we saw
Yes,
that.
that was crazy.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
by the
that-
way, Love Has Won people ended up in Kauai also. I'm not going to tell you what happened.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, we love the one about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's a great one where the
oh, I haven't seen that one.
oh, it's great. It's this ancient 85-year-old man, and he's got 96 wives, and some of them are like 16 years old or 12 years old, and they're all
Is
taking
that a
pictures
Jeps?
together. Hmm?
Is it a Jeps?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the Jeps people?
Yeah, because they all go
I
to
know all
jail
about
and-
those crazy
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
You know what I mean? Like, it actually just kind of blows my mind how, especially people that have managed to convince the US government that they're a legitimate religion, right?
Oh, right. And then they get tax-free. Yeah.
And then they get all this shit tax-free. They don't legally marry, so they suck the welfare system dry.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
pretty wild. I mean, the UEP, the Mormon fundamentalists do that.
Yeah.
The Hasidic Jews in New York do that. I mean, it's a real it's a grift for sure.
It seems like the mistake they always make, they always take some old fossil and they say he's the Messiah. And then when he dies, they have to they're like, oh shit, what do we do now? They have to like
Well,
completely
apparently
reprogram
the
everybody.
the Rebbe who died here is coming back. I mean, they're all coming back.
Well,
Oh my
of course, yeah, yeah.
What was the one with they told you who you were supposed to be with romantically? And sometimes they were like, they put two women together and they're like, yeah, you're the guy.
Yeah. And then they started fucking with people's gender identity.
That's
They
right.
were like, you know what? You're really more of a man. You should just transition.
That's right. That was on Netflix, and that was fairly recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
It's-
another cult documentary. I can't remember what that one was.
Yeah,
but-
those are the ones that get me because I mean, it's one thing if we're looking at people dressed like the Amish from 1751 or something, but if it happened in 2000, I'm like, what the hell? You know, this is modern.
It's modern and people are gullible, man.
Still falling for
It
it.
always blows my mind how gullible people are.
Yeah.
What's with
Right.
that? Why is that?
I think something's missing in them and they need something to latch on to, you know?
Sure. Yeah,
Some,
that's
some kind of crutch.
Yep. I think
Or sense of belonging. Well, I belong here, so I'm going to listen to what they
absolutely,
tell me.
absolutely. And it kind of overrides all the other executive functions somehow, because being a part of something is really valuable to us, you know?
I only have to knit 50 more sweaters and then I get a space on the spaceship. Right?
Exactly. Just keep on knitting there, boy.
So speaking of Amish, we did love Franklin County Line. I love the Motorhead vibe of that one.
Yeah.
And what is this clandestine tale involving Amish people and don't get pregnant on the line?
Yeah. So don't get pregnant on the Franklin County Line. That was literally like, okay. So we submitted the album and the guy from the label was like, we're missing a banger, right? So Jeremy goes and he writes a banger, Franklin County Line. And I had been up visiting him because he lives in a really unique place. He lives in one of the more remote places in the United States, I think. He is at the top of New York State. If you go anywhere but north, I'm sorry, if you go anywhere but south, rather, you're in Canada.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, he is the northernmost town in the United States. He is almost 3 hours off a major highway.
Wow. Yeah.
Don't forget the butter at the store.
No, I mean, there's stores up there. It's not
Okay.
that crazy, but the communities up there are really rural, they're really agricultural, and it provides enough space for people, I think, to be able to live a little more freely. And I think that's why Amish folks feel comfortable there. Probably.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Amish people there. The roadways have look out for carriages signs.
Okay. Yeah.
As well as look out for moose, but look out for carriages,
Right.
you know?
Right. Okay.
The carriages, I mean, they don't do electricity, so they do have reflective stuff on the carriages, but they are in the lane with you, and most of the roads are 2-lane, one, road.
Yeah.
So it's wild. So going up there and being from New York City, I was like, holy shit, this is exotic.
Yeah.
You
Really different.
I
Yeah.
thought to myself, wow, I bet these people party. Because what the fuck else are you going to do
Yeah.
up there? And then I made up a story about some kids that meet in the deep woods and form a little like party clan.
That's great.
Yeah.
There is a thing, there was a show for a while that before you like are about to come of age and you're Amish, I think this was the
Oh, I saw that.
Lancaster,
Yeah, the Rumspringa thing.
that they're allowed to kind of experience, the modern world and either say, yes, I want to be Amish, or no, forget about this. I don't know. What do you think you would have done as a teenager, given the choices? Amish or no?
I think I probably would have gone out of the community. I don't know. I don't know if I would have wanted to stay out of the community forever, because at this point in my life, like, being Amish sounds nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like baking and sewing and, whatever.
Yeah.
Not really, but yeah, I think I probably would have left. I'm not that into religion. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about God.
No, me either.
Well, you
No.
wrote that story really well. I had it convinced it was some kind of backdrop or some true crime escape thing.
No, it was just some kids partying for sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of lyrics, I wanted to ask you, so the fight of your life, I'm confused. Like, can you explain? All right, so part of it's about I'm going to slit your throat, and then it's almost like Jukebox Hero. Like, I'm going to
Then
be.
it turns into axe, and I think axe is more guitar.
Yeah. So please do
So
tell on
the
that one.
story there, it was one of the coolest gigs I ever did. I was doing monitors for an Americana tour that Peter Buck from REM had curated.
Okay.
And he brought all these artists, like deep ass American artists, on tour. And he brought this one dude named Sidell Davis, who was probably in his 80s at the time. I'm not even sure. And I was really new to working on stage. And so he came up in a wheelchair onto the stage, and he had a butter knife in his hand. And his other hand was really like sort of kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I was like, what are you going to do with the knife? And he said, I'm going to cut your throat.
Okay.
And I went, okay. And he proceeded to slay on electric guitar fretting with the butter knife and claw picking with his
Wow.
other hand.
Wow.
Like slay,
Wow.
right? And I was like, oh fuck, this guy's a lifer.
Yeah.
You know, this guy just did it because he had to, because that was what he did.
That's awesome. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the next verse we wrote in honor, Jeremy actually wrote the second verse in honor of Ross the Boss, because we got to tour with him, and he's really a lot the same way, you know, like he structured his whole life around music.
Yeah.
You know, he does a lot of other stuff. He runs a batting cage in Queens, but he made sure that that was his first priority throughout his life. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's what that song's about.
Excellent explanation. Now I get it all now. Now I get it.
You do? I'm going to cut your throat. I mean, it's a true story.
It makes it even better. Yeah.
I love how you usually have like one track with like historical themes, like you had Cynthia Women, and this one, King of Tides. You have all about the Puritan settlers, and they think the Indians are satanic.
Yeah, of course.
It kind of brought to mind that story about Roanoke and that colony that just disappeared. What's your theories on what happened to them?
I don't know, but do you guys, okay, are you old enough to remember In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't tell
Am I
anybody.
taking you there?
My father used to put that on Leonard
Dude,
Nimoy.
that fucking show, I love that
It
show.
was great. It was always about the pyramids or Atlantis.
Absolutely,
or,
and they
yeah.
had one on Roanoke.
Oh, really? I don't remember that. Okay.
They
Yeah.
did. It was awesome. So I've always been mystified by that. But what do I think happened to those people? You know what I think happened to them? I bet some of them died, and I bet some of them just went and lived with the First Nation people.
That's always what I thought.
Yeah.
Because they were basically starving, and their leader had gone back to England, and then he couldn't get back because I forget why, but they wouldn't give him a ship, and then it took him forever to get back. And then I guess at that point they were like, "Well, we're abandoned. Let's make do."
Yeah, exactly. So I think some of them just died, and some of them went to live with the people that were already there.
Yeah, it was a really interesting perspective the way that you wrote that about, they're just like flipping out. Of course, everybody that time was like, "Oh, it's Satan," because that was anything that was bad. It's Satan.
Yeah. Did you guys see the movie The Witch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the guy that did Hereditary, right? Did it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same director. Yeah.
I don't
With the
have
goat. The goat's at the end. With the goat,
yeah. Black Phillip and
Black Phillip. Yeah.
Yeah. All of that.
That's
So,
great. Yeah.
the album cover, like when I was talking to Johan about what I envisioned, I talked to him about that movie, and one of the things that struck me about the Puritan pilgrims at the time is that they didn't really educate women and beyond being able to read like basic religious texts, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, let's like have somebody reading in the woods and have that
so
be
cool.
like fucking satanic.
That's great.
You know what I mean? And that was, yeah. So that all reading in the woods is
it's you got to see all three movies though. If you haven't seen them, so if you've seen The Witch, you got to see Hereditary.
Okay.
And then Midsummer. They're all three the same
Oh,
director.
he did Midsummer too.
Yeah.
I saw Midsummer.
Oh my
I did
God.
not.
That's a fucked up movie, isn't it? God.
Yeah.
And everything takes place like during the day. It's
Yeah.
I love the part where the guy pisses on the tree and they freak the fuck out and they're like, "That's our history." I'm like, "Oh, this guy's dead. This guy's had it."
Pissed on their god, basically.
They're gonna invent new ways to kill this guy. Yeah.
On God, you're dead.
Yeah, but all right, so if you've seen The Witch and Midsummer, then you got to see Hereditary. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my favorite of the three, actually.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool.
Cool. Yeah.
So I also like that Let's Spill Some Blood is kind of an anti-violence song in some ways. So do you think you have a long fuse or a short fuse when it comes to like choosing violence?
Depends on the day.
Depends who you ask.
Depends on the day. I try to have a longer fuse, but it really depends.
Have you ever tried to get revenge for something silly? Like just a little job?
Oh God. I did get revenge for something silly. I mean, in a very convoluted way. I was dating somebody who who had the keys to my apartment. And while he was on tour, I found out that he was cheating on me, right? So he comes back and lets himself in like after tour, right?
Right.
And I just fucking grabbed the bong that was sitting next to my bed and I fucking whacked him with it. Like I really smacked him in the head with this bong.
Yeah.
Scotty Pope, I love you. I am so glad we are still friends.
Wow, you're naming names. Look at you. Wow. Yeah. Speaking of that, we were just talking last night because we were watching that show Yellow Jackets, right? And they're in it's pretty good so far. Kind of culty. Anyway.
Okay.
So at one point, this girl's smoking pot through an apple, like the way we used to do, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I was telling Stace, I was like, we did so much of that shit when I was growing up. Tinfoil, when I finally got a bong, I thought it was going to be $8 million. And we went to get it, and the guy was like, yeah, it's $12. I'm like, that's all?
You were like,
I've been using sticks and stones to smoke pot, It was just like
giving yourself Alzheimer's by smoking it in fucking tinfoil.
I would use anything. Like I was always trying to find something. And then when finally we got one, I couldn't believe how much time I'd wasted sculpting ways to smoke,
Well, I'll tell you, it's still a decent way to go because, like, for example, if you are on tour, right? You don't want to carry paraphernalia.
Right. Yeah.
Carve that fucking apple, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna do it. I've done it. Trust me.
Yeah.
As an adult.
My brothers and I, we got to the point where we could not be around my parents unless we were stoned because we found that if we were, all of the barbs my mom would say were funny. You know what I mean? Instead of getting angry, we would
angry or
crack up.
sad, you would laugh.
Yeah. When they would say what failures we were, what disappointments we were. Yeah. It was hilarious when we were baked.
What are you laughing at?
And that confounded them even more.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Anyway.
All right. So do you remember our game?
There's questions involved, right?
There are. So we have a brand new set, which I have to keep redoing these. So pick 5 numbers between 1 and 100.
5 numbers between 1 and 100. Okay. 7, 13, 25, 66, and 79.
Number 7. What would we find at the back of your clothes closet?
There's an amplifier back there.
No corpses. No corpses.
No corpses.
No corpses.
Maybe some cat vomit.
Yeah. Oh, we got plenty of that around here.
Always.
God. The struggle is real.
We have a Russian blue, and you'll hear it in the middle of the night. And I'm like, great, I'll find that somewhere tomorrow. I can't even deal with
the
it.
fun game. Let's find the cat puke.
Totally.
Right?
But yeah, there's a guitar amp and probably some cat vomit.
Okay.
That's
a good answer.
Number, let's see, where are we? 13. What would be on your ultimate sandwich?
Pickles.
Okay. Yeah.
Love
Definitely pickles. Probably red onion too.
All of the above.
I think we're somehow related. All of us. We're given all the same answers that we would get. Anyway.
Number 25. Do you believe in aliens?
I cannot fathom that we are alone in this universe.
Yeah.
I read this weird thing where they sent out this like out into space, and it's this record, and it actually has like hieroglyphics on there how to play the record, and it's got like people talking and songs, pictures of people in traffic. I'm like, what are they gonna think?
Oh, like a time capsule for
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah, apparently Metallica is in one of those.
Wow.
I think they sent a time capsule somewhere, and there was Metallica's one is.
Oh, at least it's not shitty Metallica. Good. Don't send that St. Anger stuff out. Jesus.
Embarrassing. No, just kidding.
We're up to 66. If you had a time machine, what period would you least like to visit?
Definitely the Middle Ages. Don't want to be in open sewer.
Yeah.
Shitty stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dumping out your chamber pot into the street every day doesn't seem like a good way to
doesn't
start
sound
the day.
good.
No.
And the
Hi, world, here's my
plague,
death.
all of that.
Yeah.
A little too much
It's
Black
great
Death.
it's great for power metal lyrics, but it's not good
It
for
is.
living.
But
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Right.
I can.
Right, we're up to 79. Favorite mode of transportation: planes, trains, or automobiles?
As a New York kid, it's got to be trains.
Very romantic to train.
Yeah, it's trains because I've just, I didn't learn how to drive a car until I was like in my mid-30s. So there you go.
In Keith Richards' book, he talks about how in the 70s when they would tour America all the time, and all of their managers told them to fly everywhere, but they said the planes were so rickety and so bad that they would refuse to fly. So they would drive, and they would stash all the drugs in the door panels of the cars.
Oh, I heard this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they got arrested a few times, and the cars got confiscated. And they just sit around and speculate. I wonder if those drugs are still in those cars 20 years later.
Maybe
Nobody knew that were in there.
Right. Maybe they got crushed and put in.
Right. With like 10 pounds of cocaine is in the door panel. Yeah. Crazy, right? Yeah. Oh, another great thing in that book, he said that they worshipped like Muddy Waters and Willie Dixon, all the blues guys that were on that label in Chicago. With it Stax? Is it Stax? Chess label, right? Yeah. And he said when they finally got to visit Chess Records in Chicago, Muddy Waters was like painting there. Like they made those artists do manual labor.
Wow.
It was like they had him like
Talk
changing
about
light bulbs
paying
and
your
shit.
dues, right?
Well, because it was early 70s Chicago, and as huge as they were in England, in the United States, nobody was into Muddy Waters or BB King or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the label had him doing maintenance.
Wild to think about, right?
I know, right?
It took that music going over, getting a bunch of white British kids into it, and then regurgitating it back.
Yeah.
To go, huh? That's kind of cool.
It would be like going in the studio and Ronnie James Dio is like doing the plumbing or something. It would be like that.
Right. Singing doo-wop.
So you're set to do the Hell's Heroes Festival in March.
Yeah, we got thrown a Hail Mary on that one because I think somebody dropped off the bill, and so we ended up getting a slot. Yeah.
Do you like Houston?
I do. You know what I like about Houston? Houston is real it's real old-fashioned. Like all of that above ground electricity and all of that old timey infrastructure. We played a show in Houston a couple of years ago, and the power went out in the entire club, right? And we were like, oh, damn. And the guy went to the ice machine and he was trying to fuck with it or whatever, unplug it, whatever. And it turns out the entire neighborhood was.
Oh, wow.
We were like, oh, I guess we're not gonna, play until the power comes back.
You can get a taco anywhere. Gas station.
Get a taco anywhere. The food is fucking killer. I think it's architecturally, I like the way the houses. I don't know. I do like it. I think that it was probably built in the wrong place. It seems like there's a lot of just flooding that really fucks that city up. So I don't know, but I do like it.
That'll be great. And then it looks like after that, you're doing a big European tour with Savage Master.
Oh my God, you guys, we're going on tour with Savage Master. Hey, this is Larry, by the way. Say hi, Larry.
Hi, Larry. I saw your black cat too in the background.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to be taking care of Larry?
So, yeah, Larry's going to be really mad at me when I go away for 3 weeks, but whatever. We'll get along. He'll be fine. Yeah, I can't wait. We love Savage Master, you guys. They are like our pals.
Yeah. They got a brand new record too. Yeah.
And their fucking new record is so hot.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's hot. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited because personally, as people, I really, really enjoy their company. And then the music that they put out on this new record, I can't wait to hear it every night. So I'm psyched.
All right, I got one for you to tell Jeremy, another guitar geek message. Okay. So on this record, and probably the other records, but I didn't hear it until now, his playing reminds me of James Honeyman Scott from The Pretenders. The one that died after the first two records. All those arpeggios and all that melodic stuff and stepping in and out of it. So I'm sure he'll know. Yeah. One of my favorite guitarists ever.
So cool. I love The Pretenders.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then I got your musical comparison. There's only 3 women I can think of that are the greatest women in rock history. Probably Patti Smith, maybe. Chrissy Hind, yes, and Erica Stoltz. There you go.
Well, don't forget Joan Jett.
You know what it is? I Love Rock and Roll screwed me up. It screwed me up as a boy because I was like 14 when I heard that, and the lyrics didn't give an accurate representation of what dating is really like. You know, you don't just walk up and go, you don't even need to know my name. I'm taking you home with me.
Yeah,
I heard that song and I thought, that's all you got to do.
Nope. Yeah,
so she set my ass up.
Actually, it probably did a disservice to a lot of people.
At least to me. Yeah, for sure.
I don't think you were the only one, Mark.
A lot of faces got smacked because of that song. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I used that line once, like some guy was chatting me up and buying me a drink, and all of a sudden he wants to know your name. I'm like, let's not let names ruin this free drink moment.
That's great.
No name.
That's great.
How about let's talk?
I went on a double date one time when I was a teenager, and I didn't know that she had escaped from a woman's prison.
Oh my God.
And apparently she had a lot more fun on the date than I did. And then I remember my mom answered the phone and said, "Why am I getting a call for you from a woman's prison?"
Is really?
And her name was Abigail, yeah. And because of King Diamond, I never forget that, right? And I had to kind of gently explain to her that that was a tough conversation.
Girl, I didn't know too much about her.
Yeah.
Apparently she was on the lam.
I didn't know she was on the run.
Whoops. Oh well. It's a good story.
Anyway.
Well, hopefully you'll be doing a US tour. I'd love to have you back at the Metro and whatnot.
I hope so, you guys. Yeah. I really, really do. I mean,
that'd be great.
Yeah, it's the land of uncertainty. And that's all it is,
Well,
yeah,
things are working out good
I think the album's gonna go off good. I mean, there's so much attention to detail. I like even when the will becomes the change, you got the Jacob Marley change
Oh
going.
yeah,
You
yeah.
have to run to Home Depot for those?
No, actually, because we work in the theater, we were able to get like really heavy deck chain from
Oh,
the
nice.
yeah,
Nice, yeah.
we brought it up.
Also, Above the Law, the way you guys are, that gang chorus, it sounds like you're all in the same room, just like almost like you're at a bar or something.
We got a bunch of friends to just gang that up.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was
comes too
really
great.
fun.
Yeah.
Really fun. Some guys from a band called Geezer. Have you ever heard of this band? They're out of New York, and they've been putting out records for almost 20 years on a label called Small Stone.
Oh, I know Smallston. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Geezer is on that record.
And they haven't been sued by Geezer Butler. I mean,
No, because I mean, I don't think Geezer owns the word geezer. He just happens to be one.
right.
Well, hopefully we'll catch you back out there once you get back from Europe.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see you guys.
Oh my God, like I said, it's been way too long.
Oh, I have one more question. What do you teach? You teach bass to someone, or what is the thing you teach?
No, I actually teach in a bachelor's degree program at the City University of New York. I teach entertainment technology. So I teach what I do for a living, basically.
Like what kind of stuff do you teach? Like how?
What's that?
Like how? Like what is entertainment technology? Like how to
So I teach a
perform on
lab
stage?
class, and I literally teach. It's a 15-week semester, and each week I teach a different subject. So one week I'll teach how rigging. Another week I'll teach how to operate genie lifts and
so like the technical stuff.
Yeah,
technical stuff. Okay,
and then
gotcha.
I'll teach sound, how to like set up a basic sound system, basic light, that kind of stuff. But
That's
like
cool.
for
Okay.
really beginners.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, time for Deaf Ears 1.
This is Year of the Cobra, self-titled. I sure have had my share of favorite two-piece bands that create a massive sound, like Teen Mortgage or the Sewer Cats, both in the punk realm. But a doom metal duo, no guitar, just bass, drums, and vocals, out of perpetually rainy Seattle. That immediately intrigued me. I wondered what this could sound like. Would I even like such a mix? Would it be too sludgy? Without a soaring guitar solo, would I need a Prozac after? I had no idea I was about to uncover my latest musical obsession. This is the third full-length release from the Washington duo, featuring 8 tracks, mostly in the 3 to 5 minute range with 2 longer exceptions.
From the first track, it's absolutely mesmerizing. The deep, resonant, pachyderm-heavy percussion and reverberant bass layered with Amy Tongberry Smith's lilting girlish vocals floating over the top like silky threads against a murky backdrop. Full Sails grabs you with more hooks than a pair of no-tie sneakers. It starts with Amy spilling out a quick melodic bass line that pauses and repeats. Her vocals are layered and just as reverberant as her bass, while John Barry Smith's drums thud in doom-laden rhythm, punctuated by cymbal abuse at the end of each pattern. Amy's bass then shifts into a distorted growl like a dog protecting its food bowl as she effortlessly moves through a catchy chord progression that snarls back for the verses. Sure, she says Full Sails about 50 times, but by the time the track builds and she wails it out over that crushing doom backdrop, the effect is so hypnotic, she could do it 50 more times and I think it would still be great. This is Full Sails.
In contrast, Daemomium meaning evil spirit, features Amy plucking quick bouncing notes over John's sharp attacking drums, creating the most danceable doom ever, all while peppering a serial killer with eerie questions. Did she make it all right? Did she make it that night? Did she put up a fight? Was she quiet or did she moan inside? The moment she sweetly croons, evil, over that spry note pattern is downright chilling. As the song nears its end, the rolling drum breakout surges over throbbing, distorted riffs, creating an urgency like a siren's wail. Prayers is the ballad of the bunch, opening with slow, hesitant bass notes over an electric hum before the drums jump in, with stifled bell-like tones falling in steady drop, drop, drop pace. The rhythm has the slow dance sway of an old doo-wop track, or the jazzy taps of INXS's Never Tear Us Apart, the kind where you just shuffle back and forth in a slow circle. At points, Amy cranks up the bass with long, droning notes that sound almost like a down-tuned organ. Midway through, the drums pound out a rhythm that crashes, pauses, and repeats before returning to their delicate tap formation. Amy's lush, layered vocals sing, "My Mother, My Sweet Surrender." The bellish melody returns, this time with a string instrument adding the feeling of longing. The track collapses into a feedback squall.
It's hard to pick a favorite here, as there's no filler to be found. It's probably a tie between The Darkness and War Drop. The Darkness features fuzzed-out bass riffs that shift and rumble with John's doomy cymbal crash pacing, contrasted by Amy's sweet, dulcet vocals climbing the scale as she casts her spell. I don't need a thing, I tell myself. Meanwhile, War Drop delivers popping drums and a bass line that starts off slow and crunchy before settling into a deep, swaggering bounce for the verses. It had us literally dancing on the sofa watching the video. The oscillating, thick-as-hell chords are downright infectious, and the dark lyrics about war. I know it's time. I hear the cries of men. I know it's time. I see the trail of dead. The nightmare begins. It layers up like a haunting call-and response between Amy and herself. By the second repeat, the whole swirl will have you singing along.
Sometimes when taking notes for a review after a long day at work, I catch myself thinking, okay, 2 more tracks to go. That never happened here. Despite spinning this album all week, when doing my deep dive, I savored every note, like letting a chocolate melt slowly in your mouth to enjoy it as long as possible. The repeated lyrics are catchy. The wall of sound they build blends doom metal with pop sensibilities. I may or may not have ordered one of their GOAT t-shirts. Yes, GOAT. What more would you want?
It won't be here.
It'll
never
just
arrive.
might be the first album on my top 10 list for 2025.
Stace always has trouble when she orders shirts.
Be here Monday.
We shall see. In the meantime, this is War Drop. Okay, Deaf Ears 2.
This is Ignitor with Horns and Hammers. The marvelously titled Horns and Hammers is album number 7 from the long-running Austin, Texas 5-piece known as Ignitor. And as we've come to expect from this group of vets, it's 47 minutes of US power metal done right. Riffs are sharp enough to draw blood, flirtation with speed metal erupt at just the right times. And what could go wrong with the legendary vocals of Watchtower, Dangerous Toys frontman Jason McMaster? Choruses are hooky, battle-ready, and cheese-free, while the abundant guitar harmonies of Stuart Lawrence and Robert Williams give these songs an air of elegance. The album was produced by Lawrence, another scene vet. Does anyone remember his old band Agony Column? Who dials up a $1 million arrangement with thick, meaty bass lines from Billy Dansfelli, bolstering the bottom end, and def solos placed in perfectly in the mix, allowing plenty of room for McMaster to croon, scream, and wail from behind the metal pulpit. All right, let's play a song. This is Horns and Hammers.
Never finds us in a house, in our drives, in our sacred land, the final game of civilian life. This is our last break for time.
Okay, looking for a hard-chugging riff in the style of early Priest? Look no further than Suicide Anthem, a track that rips from the very first note, McMaster uncorking some of his glass-shattering vocal capabilities for a sound that delivers the vibe of tried-and-true 80s metal with a modern sheen. Cyber Crush rockets along in occasional flirtations with speed metal and uncorks one of the coolest hard pan riffs on the record. Ferocious The Martyrs rolls out a superb bass intro and an unsurprisingly Maiden-adjacent harmony backed by what sounds like a Hammond organ. It's like 1971 all over again. The album is so consistent and packed with bangers, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I think Imperial Bloodlines would have to get the nod for the main riff, which had me hearkening back to those beloved Jag Panzer records of yesteryear, or maybe yesterday. Hard to believe at this point that Ignitor have been cranking out records for over 20 years. They're masters of their craft, and you can bet your bullet belt that they're going to keep bringing consistent masterworks of headbanging delight for years to come. Let's check out a little bit of Imperial Bloodlines.
Life of this dynasty, good gunshot. History turning the page. Reeking as a chopper. There is no sanity to keep on our reservation. Imperial bloodlines.
Okay, Deaf Ears 3.
Deaf Ears Free. This is Edge of Paradise with Prophecy. There are some artists that we love for their music, and then there are the special ones that create amazing art while simultaneously wowing us with their work ethic. Edge of Paradise is one of these special entities, led by the wildly talented and beautiful Margarita Monet. Over the past few years, we've witnessed Edge of Paradise land a huge tour with Dragon Force while overcoming the setbacks associated with Frontier Records on the last album. Nothing like last-minute publishing right demands and advance withholding fuckery to throw a wet blanket on a new album release. Check our interview with Margarita for the deets.
That was what, like last year?
Yes.
Despite the ups and downs of the music business, Margarita is unwavering, creating interesting band-related content on social media, showing off her fantastic voice, beautiful artwork, and bold costumes that keep us coming back for more. Now signed with Napalm Records, it's hard to believe this is already album number 6 for the LA-based 5-piece, and it's 10 brandy new songs packed with everything we've come to expect from Edge of Paradise. Thundering riffs, hook-heavy guitar solos, futuristic industrial glitches, sweet keyboard vamps, and of course, that voice. Breathy, passionate, and full of power, equal parts whisper and war cry. Several songs are already available to stream at edgeofparadise.bandcamp.com, like the dark yet danceable album opener Death Note, the stuttering Korn-style main riff conjured by guitarist Doug Weand and Dave Bates, swirl with Monet's keyboards, and soaring vocals that seem to attack from every direction at once. This is a little bit of Death Note.
Also on their Bandcamp page is Rogue, Aim for the Kill, a superb track with a chorus that alternates stadium-friendly, lighter-waving hooks and hard-crunching headbangers delight. The one that really stood out for me was Hear Me, a simple piano vocal arrangement and one of Margarita's best vocal performances to date. Lyrics highly personal, delivered with chill bump-inducing, heart-melting emotion. Now I'm here with all my flaws. It's hard to take a pause. I don't want to be misunderstood. Sometimes I fear to be heard. They've really outdone themselves with that one. Finally, there's Prophecy Unbound, a total banger from Jump Street. Heavy as fuck Static X style riffs just mowing everything down. Margarita wailing in full command. This is the best Edge of Paradise have ever sounded.
Another triumph for one of the most talented and hardworking rock and roll bands of the decade. Album drops March 7th, so get over to Napalm's website and get your pre-order for a gorgeous final copy of Prophecy before they're gone. Let's close it out with a little bit of Rogue, Aim for the Kill.
Sometimes I feel there
Hackman and pop-up ads. I mean, simple as that.
Maybe you should have made some Gene Hackman pop-up ads. I guess we kind of did.
Genius. Great idea.
Yeah, there was never a movie when you saw him pop onto the screen that you weren't like, yes, no matter what his character.
I was talking to some friends and we were thinking it would have been great if he had done like a buddy cop show with Jack Nicholson. And Jack Nicholson, he could be kind of like the semi-fruity. He's a hard cop, but he likes opera and he wears like biodegradable clothing and stuff. And meanwhile, Gene Hackman's just like the grizzled old geezer that just won't have any of it. Like, I'm telling you. What could have been. But anyway, R.I.P. Gene Hackman. And Stace now knows what telex machines are.
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to Metal Queen, Erica Stoltz, for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme, courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 4 artwork, courtesy of KC Angel. You can find him on Instagram at KC Angel Art. Deaf Ears bands, in addition to checking out the brandy new Sanhedrin, also check out Edge of Paradise, Ignitor, and Year of the Cobra. All content 2025, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
A recycle bin full of Mark and Stace rocketing down the street.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.